Every year, billions of garments are produced and consumed worldwide, many of which are worn only a few times before being discarded. Fast fashion is defined by rapid production, low prices, and constant trend turnover, allowing consumers to access new styles almost instantly. In fact, some brands release thousands of new items daily, reinforcing a culture of continuous consumption. At the same time, awareness of the environment and ethical consequences of fast fashion has significantly increased. The industry contributes to pollution, waste, and exploitative labor practices, yet consumer demand continues to grow despite these concerns. Consumer motivation and values. This creates a clear contradiction. If consumers understand the harm, why do they continue to buy? Research in consumer behavior suggests that clothing purchases are often driven by emotional and psychological motivations rather than the rational decision-making. Fashion plays a key role in identity, self-expression, and social belonging, making it difficult for consumers to align their actions with their values. Additionally, factors such as affordability, convenience, and the constant availability of new trends makes fast fashion especially difficult to resist. Consumers often justify their purchases or focus on short-term satisfaction while long-term consequences feel distant. This project explores the psychological mechanisms behind fast fashion overconsumption, examining how internal motivations and external influences shape consumer behavior and contribute to this ongoing cycle. Psychological triggers. People usually think that the things they buy when they go shopping are things they really need. The truth is that a lot of the time, people buy clothes because of the way it makes them feel. The companies that make cheap clothes do not just sell clothes, they sell a way to feel happy. They always have new clothes coming out. They put sale tags on things and they tell people about the latest trends, which makes people want to buy things before they really think about it. Some people have studied why people buy clothes. They found out that a lot of the time, people buy things on impulse because they are feeling emotional, they are not thinking clearly, and their friends are buying things too. The clothes people wear are also a way for them to show who they are. People wear clothes to feel good about themselves, to feel like they are part of a group, and to be liked by others. That is why a lot of people feel bad about the clothes they buy. They know that buying clothes is not good for the planet, but they still buy them because they think they are cheap, or because they are trendy, or because they think it's just one small thing. People think that what they buy is their decision, but really it is the companies that make them want to buy things. Consequences of overconsumption. The problem with buying many cheap clothes is much bigger than just one cheap shirt. Over the 15 years, the number of clothes being made has roughly doubled, but people are not keeping their clothes for as long as they used to, which means that a lot more clothes are being made and thrown away after only being worn a few times. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation says that every second, a big truck full of clothes is thrown away or burned. The United Nations Environment Program also says that the companies that make clothes are responsible for a significant amount of the bad things that people put into the air, and they use a lot of water. So the low price that people see when they are shopping does not show the cost to the planet. Too many clothes are being made, people are not keeping them for long, they are throwing them away, they are making the air dirty. They are using too much water. Solutions. Changing consumer mindset. Approximately 1 in 20 Canadians, or about 5%, suffer from the compulsive buying disorder, also known as a shopping addiction. This condition involves a compulsive need to spend, which often results in significant financial debt, emotional issues, and difficulties functioning. Individuals with ADHD, bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, or a history of addiction are more vulnerable to developing this disorder. Even those without a shopping addiction can be influenced by classic marketing strategies, especially in fast fashion stores and during seasonal changes, when new items in seasonal colors arrive, sparking curiosity, and end-of-season sales attract more savvy shoppers. In fast fashion, these impulse purchases can be understood as attempts to satisfy two psychological mechanisms of consumption: hedonism and utilitarianism. Hedonism is seeking pleasure and reducing suffering. In fast fashion, fashion, it relates to happiness from purchases influencing behavior. Fast fashion exploits this by offering novelty, abundance, affordability, and a sense of getting a good deal. Utilitarianism urges rational actions to maximize value and efficiency. In fast fashion, it's tricky to justify impulsive buying, but options like endless choices, low prices, and bulk buying offer ways to rationalize a purchase. How to find solutions. Emotional shopping can be impulsive, especially during seasonal changes, and can also lead to buyer's remorse. Solution: use the 30-day rule. If you still want to buy an item 30 days after you initially saw it, then it may be a necessary purchase or something that will fill a gap in your wardrobe. Do you use retail therapy to make up for a bad day or a breakup? An alternate way to manage these emotions is by investing in traditional therapy, which can cost on average $160 in Ontario for a registered psychotherapist or social worker, and as low as $25 to $80 for students and budget counseling options, versus the hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars spent on impulse buys in a single day. Buying from slow fashion and creating a capsule wardrobe. Slow fashion can be described as the idea of quality over quantity, focusing in on durability and longevity of garments, not just seasonal trends, using eco-friendly materials or local production, encouraging repair, and transparent about their sustainable production habits. A larger closet can cause decision fatigue when selecting outfits, leading to visual and mental clutter, hoarding seldom worn items, and feeling of embarrassment or guilt, which ultimately take up more space in your home. The solution is to create a smaller wardrobe with intentional pieces that can be mixed and matched easily. Begin by clearing out the clutter. Remove everything from your closet, evaluate each item, and consider how often you wear it. If an item is difficult to wear, ask yourself whether you no longer love it or if it is a styling issue, which might also reveal a gap in your wardrobe. The goal isn't to have less, but to have the right pieces that are durable and versatile enough to create many outfits. Build your wardrobe based on your real life and not your fantasy. Mindful consumption, thrifting, or clothing swaps. Mindful consumption encourages repair or purchasing upcycled items from thrift stores. Even better for the planet and your wallet, engage in clothing swaps with friends. How do these methods satisfy hedonism and utilitarianism? It redefines hedonism as focusing on craftsmanship, discovering the right piece, and aligning with personal values. It also reshapes utilitarianism by emphasizing choosing items for their quality, durability, and versatility, ones that are worn often and repaired, making them more meaningful and sustainable. The conclusion. Understanding the psychology behind fast fashion consumption reveals that the issue is not simply a lack of awareness, but a complex interaction between values, emotions, and external factors.